Smack talking where the legends live and the rookies get schooled in law. This ain't just talk. This is smack talking raw. You ready, Pinky? Judge always Ron. Let's lay the smack down. Boom.
Welcome to another episode of Smack Talking Raw. I'm your boy Pinky, and there's Ron Stradamus. How we doing, baby?
Doing fantastic. How we doing, Pinky?
Oh, buddy, I'm doing good, buddy. Enjoying my 2 weeks of unemployment. Time to relax and have some fun.
It's a good place to be, man, especially when you're going to bigger and better things, for sure. For sure.
Exciting things coming.
Just so that you know, Pinky, he also is known as a financial guru, will be making a move to the big time to be able to help out more and more individuals. So if you happen to be someone that he's able to help service to get your financial matters in order, Pinky is the man. So go ahead and do that. And we're both financial guys because I'm a mortgage guy. So right. I get a chance to do that as well. So
I'm getting back into the game. So
being in the game is cool. I'm wearing my Broncos beanie hat right now. And, you know, I know everybody tunes into the show to watch for wrestling, but for just a minute, you know, don't allow me to toot my horn too much, but toot. The Broncos have won 9 games in a row. And for all intents and purposes, we could have won 11 in a row. So we'll just take it and we could have lost 11 in a row. We're one of those teams that we're finding a way to win in the most precarious of ways, but good on us, right?
Sometimes better be lucky than good. And sometimes, you know, at the end of the day, when you are a good team that can find a way to win, that's a quality that's tough. Not a lot of teams just have that ability to win. So no matter the odds. So
that's right.
It's very exciting. That game had me pulling out my hair, had me up too late. I think I was still up to like 11:30 because I was just amped up of like, how did that happen? Like, and then, you know, part of me is like, well, how did we play so bad to the Commanders? Like, Commanders played like their best game of the season. Like, they took their bye week and was like, this is what we're doing. And they had a good game plan. So,
well, the crazy thing is that it was a great game, and people will ask me, which would I prefer, a fantasy football win or a Broncos victory? And on both accounts, Mr. Harvey, RJ, scored some points, a bunch of points for my opposition, which helped them to beat me by 0.18 points in fantasy football.
That's awful.
And then in my other league, Terry McLaurin scored a touchdown late in the game to tie the game. And that put me, so I lost by 3 points in that league. So as happy as I am that the Broncos are now the number 1 seed in the AFC, I'm now down to 3rd or 4th place in both leagues because of those losses.
As of last night, they're the number 2 seed.
That's true. That's
for
true.
The week.
Yes.
And then we beat the Raiders, then we'll be number 1 again.
There you go. Another tough game. But, you know, we've had a lot of wrestling going on. We actually went to SmackDown. It's already been a week and a half. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy, man. Feels like yesterday.
Yeah, it does feel like yesterday. You know, for those of you that are tuning in new to the show, we're just wrestling fans just like you. So drop a like and a comment if there's something that you see that you like or you want more of, etc. We talk about wrestling because I've been a wrestling fan for now 42 years, and I never thought I'd be doing anything for 42 years, but I've been doing WWE specifically for 42 years. And Pinky and I, we came together about a year and a half ago, and we said, what would it be like to start a wrestling program? And so in starting that wrestling program, now we're starting to get into the nuts and bolts of like what makes WWE great and what makes it terrible. So in this segment right now, it's called Ron's Rant. Ron's Rant is about a situation that's going on in WWE to where it's just really making the product look pretty terrible. So my rant today is about the consciousness of storyline. I talk to Pinky all the time offline. I'm like, dude, what if they did this? Or what if they did that? And Pinky's like, dude, that's a great storyline, but they'll never do it. And that's true. You know, we got the John Cena retirement tour, which culminates next Saturday. It's unbelievable that John is going to be retired and no longer putting it down in the WWE ring. And here's one of the ideas that I have, Paul Levesque. So Paul Levesque, my rant today is you're going to put Gunther against John Cena in his final match, likely. What does that do for the product having Gunther versus John Cena? If Gunther wins, great. If Gunther loses, he's been losing all year long. He lost to Jey Uso. He lost, and Jey Uso just lost to LA Knight. So we're in a situation to where it's such bad booking, the continuity of the story just doesn't make sense. So my idea, and I'm bringing it to everybody, is why not have Gunther win, and he's supposed to face John Cena. Out in the back comes Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out, attacks Gunther, harming him and hurting him, putting him out for 3 to 4 months to where he's no longer on TV or anything. Brock Lesnar goes on to beat John Cena, or John Cena goes to beat Brock Lesnar. Gunther comes back, and now instead of Gunther being the bad guy, Gunther's the good guy because now everybody wants him to beat up Brock Lesnar. Where? At WrestleMania 42. That books itself, ladies and gentlemen.
The only hole I can poke in that is we just had Gunther gone for 3 months. I don't see them like putting him on the shelf for another 3 months. So at least a week, but not a couple
That's
months.
how Triple H books, though. But absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? Because if Brock Lesnar puts Gunther out for a while and then he comes back, then it makes it so people are like, dude, I really miss Gunther. And now he's got a reason to come back. Let me get behind him. And now Gunther's a major babyface going into the thing. And he doesn't have to change character, very similar to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold never really changed his character. He just got cheered instead of booed.
Very true. Very true.
So that's my rant for the day.
All right.
The continuity of the storyline that WWE tries to put on sometimes doesn't the curtain doesn't match the drapes.
Yeah, yep. I definitely understand that one. All right, let's talk about SummerSlam.
No.
Survivor Series. Sorry.
Good job.
I
Good job.
had the S's. I had the S's in my mind.
I'm the older of the two of us, so you don't have that right yet.
So let's start with the we'll do the women and the men's matches first. Now, I had a blast. I was so thankful that all of my wrestling buddies came to the house. We had a good time. It's just there's more energy when there's more people around.
Yes.
And thank you for coming over to the casa.
Thank you for your hospitality. Thanks for you're the hostess with the mostest. We had yummy food and more importantly, great company. Although Robert sitting next to me, Robert, if you're watching this, a couple times I heard some snores.
He was out. He had a rough week. So I give him credit that he at least came.
Right.
So, and I was glad that I could give him a good place to take a nap.
That's right. That's right. He was almost on my shoulder. So next time he's going to get a Stone Cold Stunner. Anyway, go ahead.
I think we've talked about this previously, but I don't like the format of everyone coming out to the ring with their music, and some of them come running. Some of them just kind of get their music, come down, and they kind of just walk their way to the ring. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I want those shark cages back. I want to see them all in the cage, like who's coming next, and so-and-so's talking trash, and No, I'm going. That moment where was it CM Punk and Roman, where CM Punk decided he was going to go before Roman and went down there, right? We lose those moments. So I love the entrances. Let's do the entrances first. Have everybody get their time to shine, do their entrance, their slow walk to their shark cage, and then let's get this thing rolling. I don't know if we can go fully into the idea that you mentioned last week of just eliminations can happen at any point. But I think it should be true 5-on-5 elimination. And maybe that's too long of a match. But I just, when you get everybody going and then just like that one pin ends it all when there's 10 people in there, it's just not right. I enjoyed the SmackDown 5-on-5.
Right.
Probably more.
Right.
Than the actual Survivor Series.
Well, the thing I was saying to you about WarGames that makes it boring is that the match doesn't start until everybody gets into the ring. And so in that space, it's like, okay, you get somebody to where they're beat up or whatever. And it's like, what do? They all stop beating up on them. They go on to somebody else. Right. And it's like, if they had it to where a person gets beat down, they lose the match. Now you're at a big disadvantage now, because now it's 5-on-4 potentially, or 5-on-3 potentially, right, or what have you.
That just would be it'd be a more interesting, because I feel like I've been back into wrestling pretty hardcore the last 3 or 4 years since 2021. Survivor Series just doesn't do it for me.
Right. It's one of those pay-per-views now that it's like they don't build the WarGames matchup well enough, because it's like when I think of WarGames, I'm thinking about people that absolutely hate each other. Like when the Wyatts used to be against the Shield, they used to really dislike each other big time. And when the original WarGames matches were when the Horsemen fought the Legion of Doom, Dusty Rhodes, and all those guys, that was like really serious business, because they really hated each other at that time, at least on screen, kayfabe and everything. But it's the WWE product, especially after watching Blood and Guts from the other organization. The temperature of the two WarGame matches, completely different vibes, man. And I'm not so into the blood and the guts as much as I want it to be more. Okay, so Survivor Series, let's give it a ranking after we're done with Survivor. We'll give that. Okay, good. Continue.
So we got the women's match. It's fine. It's fun. Nothing crazy. I mean, we had our Io Sky moment. Io's crazy for doing that, by the way. Like, there's just, I mean, she messes that up. That's all she wrote, man.
Right.
And there's no way to practice this. Oh, this is just her going out and just doing something crazy. So I give her a lot of credit for that. That's like the memorable moment from the women's WarGame match was Io Sky.
Right.
Jumping off the cage. Everybody did okay. Like, I do think there's some hate there, and I do think there's the possibility of seeing Nia and Lash Legend as a tag team. And even fighting the Kabuki Warriors. There's some stuff there. It's just nothing. I don't know. It just kind of felt, again, I enjoyed it and I was entertained, but it's not something that I would be able to recall and be like, oh yeah, remember when so-and-so did this? And it just didn't create that moment.
Right. Not at all. Not at all.
No. So, and that's kind of the men kind of did the same thing. That was fun. That's fun. Now these guys, there are a lot of guys in that ring that do hate each other, but I felt like it was still one of those things where everybody had to get their spot, and everybody, Braun got to do a spear and Roman got to do a spear, and Roman was, again, coming out. Roman was just, putting his one up, taking his slow ass time, getting down to the ring when everybody's getting their ass beat. Like, that's why we should have those shark cages.
Right, exactly. And Jay is up on top of the cage with his yeeting and stuff like that in the middle of the match. I want to run it back, run it back, run it back. Like it's I know that we're not in a blood and guts environment, but we're no longer in the PG environment either. And that's what I feel like we're getting with WWE programming right now, which is really annoying right now to a large degree. Continue.
So, kind of the same thing as the women's match. I started looking at the pictures that WWE has on their website, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that did happen." Like, there's just anything that just like there's nothing that really stood out and was like, "Oh, that's so amazing." Again, there's the masked man at the end that comes in. Got to be Austin Theory, right?
It seems like it should be.
Because the one thing I'm like, hey, there's not many of the athletes that could climb that cage that fast.
The only person that I could think of that it could be, there's a couple people that I could think of, but one that nobody's put on their radar is, and this is going to be a shocker because he's been held back so much, is LA Knight. Because the guy was a pretty big guy, and LA Knight is pretty agile and stuff like that. And I was like, if it was LA Knight, that would be a fantastic thing for them to do. They got like Triple H cannot be blind to the product. He can be arrogant all he wants to, but he can't be blind to the fact that the fan base doesn't really jive with everything that he's doing, even though there was 42,000 people inside the stadium. That's where WWE fans are killing the product because they're supporting lackluster programming, for lack of a better term.
Right, because it's cool to like wrestling right now. So then we all want to get involved, right? We all want to, watch the pay-per-views. We want to go to the events. We want to buy wrestling T-shirts and, support them. And then, again, at the end of the day, like they're still making money. So they're going to keep doing what they're doing, unfortunately. Now, I did enjoy Bronson Reed, Tsunami, and everybody. Like, I love that. That's my guy. So if his Tribal Thief T-shirt was on sale, I would have bought it, but it's not.
The one thing about his Tsunami is he's not doing it exactly how he did it before, like where he would just go to the top rope and just automatically just jump. He's hesitating just slightly, a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Which tells me that maybe he's hurt some folks.
Good. Get to that,
Well, we want to keep our entertainers safe as well. So, and I think this was the end where Braun Breaker hits CM Punk with the spear after the Masked Man got him with the stomp. This is telling to me, and I don't know if you saw it last night. They've already booked it on January 5th. CM Punk will be defending the World Heavyweight title against Braun Breaker.
Yeah. The thing I loved about, so there's a couple things. When I watched Braun Breaker's interview yesterday, I really got present to the fact that he's a Steiner. And as a Steiner, they need to let him loose and just let him go buck wild a little bit, become like a MJF kind of character to where he's off the hinge all the time. Don't hold him back. Just let him just go off and do his things. Let him start doing Steiner math, Steiner science, and everything like that. You have a 1 2/3,000% of a thing to be able to get in a ring with me. Let him just go crazy with that kind of promo. And there's dysfunction within the Vision group now because you got Logan Paul, for all intents and purposes. He should be. He's so athletic and so incredible. He should be leading the Vision. You got Bronson Reed, who he can squash anybody in a minute. So they're putting all the emphasis on Braun Breaker, and it just doesn't logically all the way make sense to me. Just that way. He's great.
It seems like they're pushing him, man, and no matter what, they're pushing him, and we'll talk about it, but his promo last night was pretty good. Not amazing, but still the best promo he's ever done. We'll say that.
Yes.
So I did like this picture. I like the bad guys. I think we both said the bad guys were going to win. So that came to fruition. I think it's still, what's Brock going to be up to? What's next for Drew? The Vision can still keep kicking, the shit out of people on Raw. You get Braun Breaker the title. You get Bronson Reed the Intercontinental title at some point from Dom. I don't know what's next for Logan. Is he going to? I mean, sometimes he's here for a couple months and then he's gone for a couple months. So, like, how long do we have him till he leaves again? What's happening?
Yeah, and they talked about Seth, like how he got kicked out of the Vision and everything like that. So that automatically prompts that Seth Rollins is going to be coming back as a good guy, potentially. So there's a lot of things up in the air, and I'm looking to see how. I was reflecting back on WrestleMania 40, and one of the things that made WrestleMania 40 so special at the time was how, and as much as he's kind of taken himself out of play, but Dwayne Johnson, how he was interacting with social media, how he was interacting with
Right.
Cody Rhodes, Mama Rhodes, all this stuff, and their interaction at the Las Vegas introduction to WrestleMania and everything like that. They made it seem like it was real. And now we've gone backwards and regressed to a point to where I think we're about to 2014, 2015 wrestling, to where there's no identity right now. WWE was trying to push Roman Reigns and everybody wanted Daniel Bryan. So everybody needed it. So either Triple H is trying to recreate that with LA Knight being in the background. How come he's not getting pushed? You're trying to push Braun Breaker, and that causes a thing. This is psychology of wrestling. And the reason why I bring this up is because there's continuity in wrestling and things repeat themselves. So I don't know what the Triple H is doing, but that would make sense to me, right? At the end of the day, if you're trying to get somebody to get like Major Pub, have LA Knight lose on Friday night. The fans will start to get behind him because he has been relegated to relatively nothing since he's been on the main roster, with the exception of his U.S. Championship belt that he won. That was insignificant during that time.
Right. Yeah, because he didn't have it very long until Fatu took it from him at WrestleMania.
That is a great picture right there, though. That's a great picture.
That is a good one. I got a better picture for you.
I didn't know I was waiting for it, but
Oh, buddy. I think I was pleasantly surprised. I don't think Nikki Bella was bad in this match. I think this was a pretty darn good match from these two ladies.
Her interview after the fact of saying Nikki Bella's not done, that kind of said some words to me that says that she's going to pop up somewhere and that maybe her sister comes back and they have the tag teams. Because you had mentioned something to me earlier off camera that I think is right. And we'll talk about that in a minute as far as the women's tag team stuff and everything like that. And I could see Brie coming back and all of a sudden the Bellas come back to claim their tag team dominance in the future.
Right. So thankfully, and I feel like we both thought there was no way they were going to let Nikki Bella win. There's just like, it's Steph's first true title defense. You're going to have her lose when you've put all this heat, all this momentum behind her. So thankfully that did not happen. And the right thing happened. Stephanie overcame. She won. Damn, she's awesome.
Yep. And just remember, fool, I was the first one that put radar on Stephanie Valkyrie because you was talking about, her mug and da-da-da. And I was like, dude, you need to shut your mouth. She's the one. And all of a sudden you're like, you're right. I used to love Liv Morgan. And now I like Stephanie Valkyrie and blah, blah, blah.
Hold on. I still love Liv Morgan. Don't fool yourself there, buddy. Don't fool yourself there. I was missing me some Liv Morgan. Switching gears. Congrats to Steph. This was the match of the night, man. This was the match of the night. Dom and Cena both of their matches were really good matches. Really good matches. So, and I love that Cena basically throughout this match gave the entire Judgment Day a rub. Like everybody got in on it, which is kind of the reverse of what happened when the Nexus stepped up to John, right? He squashed them and then they were done. This time, I think he learned from his mistakes and, helped put these guys over. What'd you think of this match?
Man, I thought that, and actually, I'm not going to say I became a Dominic fan, but I really appreciate his body of work a lot better through these two matches with Cena, because it's very rare that a person can make John Cena not look good. Because when John first came back to WWE to start the year off at the Royal Rumble, he looked weird. His body looked weird. He looked old and all the things. John's in really good shape right now. Like, you can tell he's been putting the time into the gym. He's putting time in his hair, putting his time into his teeth. He's doing all the things right now so that he's ready to go back to acting, etc. Well, Dominic Mysterio, his character is kind of comedic a little bit. So you can kind of like lose some of the greatness the stuff that he does great in the sauce. But the thing I'll share with you is that Dominic Mysterio is a great wrestler. And he's a great entertainer inside of that. So he has the Eddie Guerrero gift to where he is a preeminent wrestler and he knows how to entertain as well. So I think that he's really Eddie Guerrero's child because he's way too tall to be Ray's. And that's what I got right there.
Dude, he's Eddie Guerrero 2.0.
Right.
He comes up with new, fun, interesting ways to cheat every time. And I love it. I'm not quite the dirty Dom lover like our boy Caleb is, but his wrestling's great, and he just entertains me. So I love it. I love everything he's done. When he, the first match they had in Boston where he threw the chair to John, thinking the ref was going to catch him, and then John threw the chair down and laid down, and the ref had no idea what was happening. Like, that was great, man. How about this? How great was this for Roxanne Perez?
Pop rocks on John Cena in the middle of the ring. That was incredible.
Because she loves Cena.
Yes.
And she's so young. I know she'd been in NXT. He goes down to NXT and visits them. You know that they all enjoyed it. Even when Raquel hit him with the Tejana bomb, I was like, damn. And then the Judgment Day, everybody else, JD McDonough got in there and Finn Balor got in there. And this was just a fun time. And then it happened. And I was so happy that my girl, Liv, is back.
And the cool thing is that essentially John got back what he gave at the Elimination Chamber back, because all of a sudden Liv jumps in his arms and is like, yeah, I'm with you. And then all of a sudden her eyes turn this weird thing. And next thing you know, boom, in the cadettles.
It was great because first she came up and slapped Dom. So first you're thinking, oh, she has an issue with Dom. Dom's been too friendly with Roxanne, which I don't think they've played that up enough.
Right.
I think they really needed to play that up the last 3 to 4 months, and they really haven't. When Liv was still healthy and wrestling and involved in every storyline, that's when you saw Roxanne giving Dom some chicken nuggets and, her being real friendly and trying to get into the group. And then, that was it. They didn't really do any more of that stuff while she's been out. That would have been perfect if they had continued that while she's out. Because then that slap really makes you think, oh, my God, she's going to turn on Dom right here. And then she jumps into Cena's arms, smiling. There's many pictures of her being a Cena fan. And then her eyes go crazy, bro. The camera work was perfect on it because you can just see her eye. John was kind of deadpanned on Cody. She got crazy-eyed, and you knew something was going to go down. And then, she kicked him in the huevos. Man, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was an awesome way for John to give Dominic back the IC title. We got a surprise. This was just like, to me, if this was the main event, that would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect. A great ending to the event. Like that's where the WWE is great, when they hit these kind of moments. But nowadays they've been so few and far between, because Dominic, it made you like him a little bit more, even though he's cheating and doing all the dastardly things that he's doing. It's just like, okay, we got Liv Morgan back. And Dom, that was pretty cool that you outwitted John Cena. Good job. And now for the remainder of his career, he's going to be, I was the person that ended John Cena's career, even though he isn't the last, he has that potentiality. So hopefully they build that up so that builds him up in the future for sure.
This just makes me smile. Seeing Liv back just makes me smile. Because I'm telling you, that girl's got great acting craziness in her, and I love it. I believe she is crazy. So and I love it. I do love me some crazy ladies.
I've seen that. No offense, Hannah. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So talking about Cena, it is here, buddy. We are 11 days away from his last match ever. And I'm gonna say it, man. I know, whatever. Every time they've been putting on this little, they did some big interview, and they've been just doing some clips. They did it on Raw, they did it on SmackDown. They're just releasing these like 2-minute quick interviews with him. I get a little teary-eyed, man. It brings that emotion. I'm like, oh man, yeah, we are on the home stretch of this. It is almost over, and we will never see him wrestle again. He's gonna come out and maybe he'll get involved and be in somebody's corner in a storyline or something, but he's never wrestling again. I believe him. I believe his word. It's just not happening.
So I have an interesting pivot for a second. I was thinking about this, and what I'm going to say sounds morbid. So if you're watching the show and everything like that, you're going to be like, why did you go here? But this is like a question I have, right? So we just recently lost Hulk Hogan this year.
Mm-hmm.
If something were to happen to John Cena, and I'm not wishing it on him by any stretch of the imagination, did he have that same impact in professional wrestling that Hulk Hogan did?
I think he did. Now again, I think it's different eras. Hulk Hogan was the Michael Jordan of wrestling. He was like the star. And he was the most marketable star for a very long time. But then there's also John as a marketable star. He carried the company for 20 years. And then on top of that, all of his Make-A-Wish stuff, which again makes him a good person, but he's also continued to build that outside of the ring. And then also now with all the movies that he's been doing, right? So he's continuing to push that brand. I think he did, man. And that's me.
Okay. Because when I look at it, the global impact of things, because like we've talked about our Mount Rushmore a couple times, and I think about Hulk Hogan, think about Stone Cold Steve Austin, think about The Rock, and I think about John Cena now, as we come to it, Ric Flair, those guys. And it's like, if Cena was to pass away, I would totally be bummed out, like totally bummed out. And I don't know if it would have the impact that it did when Hogan died, because Hogan was the say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and drink your milk and all that sort of stuff, and live by, yeah, brother, with the largest arm. Like, he was just bigger than life. Cena, for a majority of his career, he didn't have the adulation of the fans, even though he was a good guy. People, let's go Cena. Let's go Cena.
You ain't getting that out of me. You ain't getting it out of me. Look, I think I've got a counter argument for you on that.
Okay.
We're children of the 80s. So we are absolutely going to have that ingrained in our mind of Hulk Hogan being like the greatest, like because we lived and learned to love wrestling in the 80s, and he was the guy. I think if you were a kid in the early 2000s, 2010s, you would love John Cena the way that we loved Hulk Hogan.
That's interesting.
Because again, it's just what we grew up with. Just like the fact that I'm a Jordan guy because I watched him with my own two eyes, and I've never seen LeBron do the things that Jordan did. That's why Jordan's my guy. Like
or Kobe.
I mean, that's debatable, but yes, I would. In some cases, I'd say Kobe is a better player than LeBron.
For sure, 1,000,000%.
LeBron just happens to be 6'9", 280, and a physical Adonis specimen.
Yeah,
but he's not. He's not a killer, man. He doesn't. And then again, getting off topic, but I think that's why you and I have always had a great affiliation or affection for Hulk Hogan, and it did impact us that we were children of the 80s. He was the guy that told us to work out and eat our vitamins and be nice to our parents and be respectful, right? All of those things. We didn't grow up in the 2000s. We were already grown men in the 2000s.
That's correct.
So.
And we got somebody leaving comments right now, so let's take a look at this. The Rock and Cena have larger impacts on the modern day dual star than Hogan ever did. While Hogan and Flair are pop culture mainstream now, I think that largely due to the success of Do You Smell What the Rock is Cooking and You Can't See Me. That's true. In this mainstream media, they got a chance because there was a lot more media. Back in the time when Hogan was in play, this was just coming out with cable, right? We were just having cable come out. I could turn on the TV and flip a knob that you could go to Channel 9 and watch Saturday morning wrestling. And he was already on Rocky. He was already doing, then he went to Thunder in Paradise, which was terrible. He did a lot of stuff. Hogan, I think that if Hogan, and this is the big telltale, right? If Hogan wasn't in wrestling at the time where Hogan was in wrestling, I don't know if wrestling becomes the mainstream thing that it is today. Whereas The Rock has already left and gone to do something else. John Cena is getting ready to leave to go do something else. This business is going to continue on with or without them powerfully. Whereas when Hogan left out in 93, and he went from WWE to WCW, there was a huge lull in wrestling for a long time.
Right. That is absolutely true. I still think Cena, when you really look back at it, his impact is on a level like Hogan's. But again, because Hogan was the most marketable guy that wrestling's ever had at that point in time, it's definitely a debate. And if anybody says Hogan, I wouldn't even fault them.
True.
Because again, it's like, and again, I'm a child of the 80s. I know there's a lot of that, and Caleb and I have talked about it. There's a lot of stuff out there about Hogan maybe wasn't the greatest human being. There's a lot out there, but I just know he entertained me when I was a kid. He made me excited about eating my vitamins, drinking my milk, all that, being a good person. So he did have an impact, and he did that around the world in a time without social media, without the internet. And, he impacted wrestling. Maybe that's a conversation. Who are the guys who have impacted wrestling the most? Maybe we'll need to write that. I'll have to write that down.
Next week, that's what we're going to talk about. Who impacted professional wrestling the most?
All right.
Thank you, Caleb, for throwing some words out there to us. Like, we will go ahead and we will move on. But yeah, good job, Caleb.
So we were talking about Cena to talk about the Last Time Is Now tournament that is coming to the end of the tournament. And so right now, I believe it's Monday night. Is it Monday Night Raw?
Friday.
They're having it?
Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, on SmackDown. LA Knight and Gunther. What are your thoughts about the tournament as a whole right now?
They could have done so much more with this tournament. They could have spawned feuds out of it. They could have done so much about it, but they were just tunnel vision in regards to getting to Gunther and now LA Knight. I'm grateful that they didn't have Jey Uso in there in this and have another Jey Uso and Gunther match, because that would have been booed out of the building, I think.
I really wish they would have found a different way than having Uso and Knight wrestle again. They'd already been doing a lot of stuff over the last 3 to 4 months. When I watched that match last night, I was kind of it was last night. I was like, we've already seen this. Like, there's nothing new about it. So
right.
Like, it would have been, to me, like LA Knight going against, Russo, like just somebody else, like Solo Sikoa and Gunther. That was fantastic. That was a great match, and it's something we hadn't really seen. And I thought it actually did really good things for Solo, even though he lost. Like, that was one of the better matches I've seen on Raw for the year. It was great.
Well, and also I will say to this, the absence of John Cena during this tournament hurts the brand, because like all of a sudden you're going to have Gunther versus John Cena, and they're wrestling for what? John Cena's retiring anyway.
Right.
So it's not like they're, okay, if you lose this match, you're retiring, John. No, he's retiring anyway. So you're just wanting to be a part of John's last match?
I'm super nervous, man. I love Gunther. If Gunther wins and he faces Cena, that's cool. I'll get to see that. But I just don't see any way to make that match, like, besides Cena actually winning in a David versus Goliath type thing. I don't want to see him take an ass beating like CM Punk did.
Right.
For 30 minutes. And then CM Punk did win the match, but he took a beating before. I don't want to see Cena take a beating in his last match. Like, that's why I kind of feel like I'm really hoping, and it's probably not going to happen. I really am hoping they let LA Knight win.
Which it would tie up a loose end of a story that happened a year ago when John Cena and LA Knight, when LA Knight was in a match and John Cena was the referee, and they had beef with each other, where John Cena was trying to raise his hand and LA Knight was kind of like, get off me. They haven't paid off that debt.
That's just a match that I think would be good to see, because it will go back and forth. And then at the end, if LA Knight comes out on top, it gives LA Knight a rub. He definitely needs a rub. Gunther doesn't. Gunther's already a main eventer. He doesn't need a rub. So getting LA Knight finally into that top echelon where he should be would be a good way to get this thing done. But hell, in my opinion, I think I would have let Carmelo Hayes win the whole damn thing at this point.
Absolutely.
He was like the young talent that really does need that, and would have a great match with John, and then John can put him over, and it gives him what we need. He needs that extra, like, wow, he beat John Cena and give him that rub. Dominic got a rub from these 2 matches with him, right? The younger talent, Carmelo Hayes would have been the guy for me.
Or Javon would have been another one.
Javon Evans, if they had done it that way, Javon Evans never goes back to NXT. Like, there's just no reason to at that point. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, he's 21 years old, and he's got all the skill sets and talents in the world.
He's already main evented NXT PLEs multiple times at 21. Man. So what's going to happen here, buddy? Tell the people. You're Rostradamus. Tell the people.
So I feel like Gunther's going to win. I'm rooting for LA Knight just like you are, which would be nice. But I just feel like they want to give John Cena the ultimate Goliath to go up against in his last match. And that's just bad booking. But I just feel like Gunther is going to win. I feel like Gunther is going to go out and try to brutalize John Cena. and John Cena is going to end up winning and beating Gunther at Saturday night's main event to give him the good, warm, fuzzy. It's usually the wrestler that is goes out on their back, but I just already saw John go out on his back against Dominic Mysterio. I can't see him losing twice.
I feel like there's nothing gained in that audience with Gunther winning. And so, yeah, I think I agree with you on that totally. What I'm more excited about, and I'm hoping we find out here shortly, there'll be about 3 or 4 probably additional matches that'll be exhibition matches from main roster talent, and NXT talent. I'm super stoked for that.
Right. That's right.
So I'm stoked to see some of the NXT guys. I'm praying for some meet and greets on Saturday morning or some photo ops. I'm praying they announce some of that. I'm ready. All right, let's finish up with some Raw. We got about 15 minutes left. Bro, this match with New Day was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I will say, I know we might differ on our opinion of Raw last night. My opinion is most of the wrestling was damn good. They put on some damn good matches. AJ Styles, Styles Clash on
perfect.
Kofi.
Perfect.
When Dragon Lee jumped off the top and bounced Kofi into AJ Styles.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was so beautiful.
Crap.
Yeah, right.
I was like, literally, I jumped out of my chair when I saw that.
Yeah, when he caught him perfectly and just executed the Styles Clash, I rose out of my seat a little bit too. I was like, that was pretty freaking cool. Good job.
Yeah,
this tag team that was kind of just brought together out of nowhere is actually meshing pretty well between the two of them.
Right. I thought for a moment, they're going to, I know going into 2026, it's AJ Styles' last year. He's mentioned he's going to retire at the end of 2026. So maybe they want to start getting AJ Styles into a couple feuds on his way out. In order to do that, you got to get rid of the tag belt. So I thought maybe they would do that with New Day. They made the decision not to. That was a damn good match. I loved it. Let's see. We talked about this just for a brief moment. Braun Breaker cutting a promo. I can't remember Braun Breaker really cutting a promo.
When he was in different variations of his career with NXT and other stuff when he was coming up, he definitely is a good interview. That's why when you were kind of like, I don't get Braun Breaker and he's coming out and he's doing all this barking stuff, I'm like, when he actually starts talking, he's a good interview for sure.
But that's in interviews. He hasn't really been. And again, that's my thing. He hasn't sold me that he's a badass. And that's part of the future WrestleMania main eventer, future champion, future everything. He hasn't sold me that he can be that guy. Last night was a step in the right direction.
Well, the thing I look at with the Vision is I look at them and they're disjointed just because of the fact that I can see any of those 3 fellows being the top guy on the brand. And in saying that, you got Logan Paul, who's looking at Braun Breaker, and he looks kind of like, why are you taking that position when I can have it? Then you got Bronson Reed. I could squash you at any moment, Braun Breaker. And then you got Braun Breaker taking so I don't know if that's going to be a dynamic that starts to play itself out. It always usually does. And it's just like, okay, Triple H, WWE, what are you doing right now? Because like, if you want one of these guys to stand out, you got to have one of them stand out. And Braun is not quite there yet, to your point.
They got to stand out and the other 2 got to stand back.
Yes.
And do they want, Bronson Reed seems to be a guy like, yeah, I'll step back for a little bit. Why have Logan? He's, sometimes he's a part-timer. He don't have time to step back. He's got to be building up that, like, I'm the guy. I'm the man. So, but I will give kudos to Braun Breaker. Me and another buddy of ours, Cody, he listens to the show. He likes Braun Breaker a lot. So we've talked about it back and forth, and I just like, once he does the seizure thing, and maybe if he added some Steiner math in there, because I always loved Steiner math, and went fully that direction, I think I might enjoy him. But this was at least a step in the right direction to get me to like him. On Raw last night, I got to see Liv Morgan multiple times. Too much, actually. But if that's even a thing, but she was involved in too much, in my opinion, on the show last night. Stepping to Stephanie, coming out, telling everybody the Judgment Day is going to take back over Raw. They're going to win all the gold, and then getting involved at the end of the night as well. It's one way to say you're back, right?
Right. And we missed you.
I think everyone did miss her. She just brings an element. There's not many women on the roster outside of Becky Lynch right now that's bringing that element of likability, but also crazy. And you just don't know what she's going to do. All right. So I like that. I like that a lot. We talked a little bit about this already when we talked about the Cena tournament. This match, I loved it, man.
Banger.
And I just think I think maybe it's because I am a child of the 80s, and I remember Gunther's style is right out of the 80s. Like it's right out of the style. Slow, measuring, like David Goliath stuff. Like this was just a great match. Solo did a great job. I loved when Solo got Gunther down and then did his pose. I was laughing. Solo, my cousin Alex, who tunes in from time to time, she loves Solo. That's her favorite wrestler. I don't know if I'm on that level, but I really enjoy what he does. So kudos to Solo.
Yes. Yes.
He's putting in good work. This was again coming back to Liv again. This was the end of the night, I guess. I should have moved this back. We'll move it back a couple. This was the main event. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Rio versus We're Not Friends, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This was also a banger. I enjoyed this a lot.
4 incredible women wrestlers bringing the division up because of their presence, for sure.
Like all of these stills are just fantastic. Now we talked about it, and my opinion was that Triple H, the women's tag team division, prior to when did We're Not Friends win? SummerSlam? Before SummerSlam?
Just before SummerSlam.
Before that, man, the tag team division was dead. It was done. Now we've got Charlotte, Alexa. We've got Io Sky and Rio. We've got the Kabuki Warriors. We've got
Bailey and Lyra.
Bailey and Lyra. We've got Lash Legend and Nia. And then we still got to talk about Raquel and Roxanne / Liv Morgan now.
True.
Like, that's freaking amazing. They went from nothing to like it is. The tag team division is stacked right now. And they're not your normal traditional tag teams either. Which also makes me wonder, like, are they clearing the deck a little bit so we can have Stephanie and Jade and we can have a couple people challenge them from time to time, but all these other big players are off right now in a different sandbox playing in this different universe against each other because this tag team division is stacked.
I mean, you still have Bianca and Naomi out. You know, I mean, there's so many people that they can bring into different discussions. The main event scene for the World Heavyweight Championship and for the Women's Championship, both are going to have lots of people gathering for that. And there's talk that Britt Baker maybe making her way over to WWE as well. So that's another part to that.
There's another one that came out today or yesterday as well that's coming from AEW when her contract's up. So we're just stacking, buddy. We are stacking. So this was the end of the night. There was a weird moment. Roxanne tried to give the belt to Liv. Liv gave the belt back to her and then raised up both their hands. So that leads me to believe, like, where does Liv stand, right? She going to be part of this tag team, or is she going to be the one chasing the world championships and let these two girls keep up the tag teams?
Well, by lack of omission, she said it a lot when she didn't want the title in her hand. She's like, I don't want this one. I want the big one. So kudos to her. So Pinky, going back to Survivor Series, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give Survivor Series?
6. And that might be just because of Dom and John and getting Liv back. Like, it's just, I think John Cena and Dom and Liv will be the only thing we remember about the Survivor Series, a year from now, 2 years from now.
Okay.
There's just nothing memorable from this other than that.
Yeah, my score for it was a 3.
That's pretty bad.
I found myself more engaged in having conversation with everybody that was there at the event, as opposed to like, oh my gosh, what's going on the screen is captivating my attention.
Right. And again, I just don't think the WarGames, it just doesn't lead itself to it's just not good. It's just not good. We'll just leave it at that. And again, we're not the only ones that have rated this pretty poorly. Now, I'm easier to please because I just want to be entertained. And since my friends were hanging out with me, that memory in my mind, I was entertained and had a good time. So I may have drank too much too. So that may have played a part in my rating as well. But most of the folks around the internet have said it's not really that good.
What do you think about Raw last night? Scale of 1 to 10.
I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it does a lot for storylines per se. I mean, Liv jumping into everything has me curious. Like, what's the next move for Liv? Because she was involved in everything on Raw last night. There wasn't a lot for the storylines, but the wrestling was damn good. So I would probably give it a 7 or 8 in my opinion, just because the wrestling was good. And I did enjoy the Maxine Dupree vignette. Like, that was dope.
Yeah, that was very powerful to see Nat putting herself out there and saying, okay, I'm going to really test you and get her to get the strength and the power that, you would love to see Maxine Dupree get going forward for sure.
Because Maxine's going to have people coming and challenging, man. It's that's next. People are going to be coming out of the woodwork for that Intercontinental Championship.
So for me, I got Raw last night as a 5. I think that it got better from the previous weeks. I like the wrestling, but it's not progressing any storylines. And that's the thing that's really, when you look back at when Stone Cold was kicking ass and when The Rock was kicking ass, they came out, they were walking to the ring and talking trash as they were walking to the ring. They're like, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said, and the whole thing, right? Nowadays, people just walk to the ring and they're look, it's just,
Now, there's also one of the things that maybe is causing some of that issue is we don't have a lot of those characters like we had. Because a lot of people are playing themselves versus playing an over-the-top character. Stone Cold there's a part of Stone Cold's character that he is in real life, but he's pretty much a relaxed guy from Texas, right? He went over the top. Booker T was over the top. Kurt Angle, like they played characters, and I feel like there's too many guys playing themselves that we don't get as much of that awesome trash talk that we used to get. I also don't think we have a lot of the talent at the moment is not. What would Vince McMahon used to say? Like, you've got to create your own moment.
You got to have ruthless aggression,
right?
And people are missing that.
They're missing that. They're missing the coming out and talking that trash, or you know, really creating those feuds where you're like, oh wow, those guys really hate each other. I miss Kevin Owens a lot because anybody Kevin Owens feuded with this year, I truly believed he wanted to beat their ass.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Smack Talking Raw to do something else. And if you don't like that, I got 2 words for you.
suck it.
Suck it. See you guys next week. Holla.
Yeah. Smack Talking Raw. Ron and Pinky in the house. We the main event, yo, the crowd gon' scream. Cena hit the ring, you can see me theme. CM Punk pipe bomb, truth getting told. Stephanie Kerr in the ring looking bold. Pinky's on the mic, Ron's got the play. Dropping hot takes every single day. Mike's blaze, crowds wild, energy tall. Monday night vibes, we bring it on. From the top rope talk to backstage brawl.